it's reality.
Well, dreams, they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something is actually strange.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Q-Code podcast Dream-isode. It's funny, I flipped it over, and I stared at it. I didn't even look at it, though.
What?
Sorry, I still don't even know. Sorry, I just have the notes in my hand or the dream, and I normally, like I've kind of talked about the last few weeks, is I don't flip it over until it's ready.
It's time.
And I just naturally flipped it over, and I was looking at it. I still didn't see anything. It's like I was just looking through the paper.
Just spaced it out.
But
I mean, I'll help you. It's number 20.
Number 20. So I sure hope you guys are enjoying these because we keep doing them. And from what I found out, Danny keeps dreaming. So we're going to keep doing them. Regardless,
even if they're not enjoying it, this is an awesome archive for us.
No, we like it.
Yeah.
So
can you imagine in 10 years we come back and listen to all these?
Yeah.
They're going to be fucking hilarious.
Cereal. Friggin' cereal. But
Or like my great grandkids just find these or something like that.
Great grandpa was freaking on drugs.
your grandkids would sound like that.
Like normally grandkids are like in the attic cleaning out the attic or something. They find like World War II journals or something like that. Yours are just your crazy ass acid dreams.
Wait, are these real?
He had a dream. He was at D-Day, but with zombies.
Yeah, seems to be the most reoccurring thing in your dream is zombies. But
It's only happened twice so far, right?
Well, just a reminder of how these things go. Danny dreams. He writes them down. We read them for you. So, thank you, Danny, for having dreams and
You're
remembering
welcome.
them. Because I can't remember any of my dreams ever. Like, I mean, and if it is, it's like bits and pieces. And, like, here's the thing. My wife had a dream this was last night. Yeah. And, like, I remember her kind of, like, rolling over. She's like, I had a bad dream. I'm going to snuggle into you. And I was like, okay. And then, like, I didn't even roll over, like, to cuddle. I was so tired. Like, I didn't even get what she was saying. And so I just stayed there, and she was just kind of, like, cuddled up into my back. And then, like, this morning, I remembered she said it, so I asked her, I was like, what happened? She goes, I don't know. Like, I was just so mad at you. I was like, why?
So why did she want to cuddle into you if she was
Because she realized that it was a dream, but, like, so because
she felt bad.
Because I left her in my dream, like, on our anniversary, and she was just so mad at me. And then she woke up and she realized that, you know, obviously it was all
a dream,
but she was still kind of like, you better not leave me. And I told her, I was like, yeah, do you have Daddy? No worries. Have no plans on that whatsoever. Like, I did not, the whole dating thing, not for me. I found you. I will never let you go. I will never leave you. So.
That brings up a quick question that just popped in my head. Say you're dating a girl and you're going to break up with her. You know you are. But it's your anniversary.
Are you asking for a friend?
Do you do it on the anniversary or do you just wait until after?
So, are you like, I just figured, you know, we should break up now because then it's like a perfect year. You know, like we had a good run.
Yeah. Or like, do you just wait until after even like, or do you save them the extra like few days?
I think you break it off as soon as you know that it's going to be over, especially if it's an anniversary or something. It's not like her grandma died or something like that. And then you're like, well, on top of that, we're just going to let you know this. But I think an anniversary is something.
I mean, is the anniversary the day that you figured it out?
I don't know. It was just yes.
It's just like, it's been a year.
What am I doing?
I have not enjoyed this year. It's over. Should I wait? I mean, I don't know.
Is it better to cut the cord immediately or
Well, yeah,
or
as
lead
soon
them
as
on for a
possible.
little while
No,
just
no.
to save them
No
like, not
leading-
doing it on the anniversary?
No, because it doesn't matter. It's going to hurt either way,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter if it's on a special day or not.
Because you don't want that like day of like, oh, it's like the best day. Did you
Yeah.
have so much fun? Yeah,
had
we're
it.
gonna break up.
And to answer your question, no, there's absolutely really there's no friend, there's nobody. That just popped into my head.
All right, well then,
For
with
future
that-
reference, I
for
might,
future
you know,
reference.
in case it comes in handy.
all right.
We'll see if that has anything to do with my dream today.
Okay. Well, let's see what it is here. Number 20. What?
Is that the
Okay,
title?
No. What? Title is 4-3-40 Podcast Groupies.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, having not read this dream whatsoever, just in case you want to know what that is, before doing the Q Code podcast, we had a very successful sports podcast called 4-3-40 Sports Podcast. And we never had groupies, so this is definitely a dream. But let's see how it shakes out, shall we? All right.
You guys will be able to tell the timing of this dream pretty accurately, I think, by some of the happenings in the dream.
Okay. As the surroundings around me
What is wrong with that?
I don't know. It just sounded. I don't know. It just sounded weird. As the surroundings around me slowly come into focus,
Yeah.
he's coming.
Normally,
He's
see,
like-
that's redundant. Surroundings around me. You could have just said, "As my surroundings come into focus."
Yeah.
But what's basically happened is he's just like lying there, and it's like. It's like that scene in Lost, like the first episode, like after the plane crashes, and they're all just like laying there, and everybody's
Like
like,
the sun's bright.
yeah, and it was like finally coming out of their comas. Like, what is going on?
To the sound of the waves.
I gather quite quickly that I seem to be in attendance at a high school history class. Not only am I in attendance,
You like being in high school,
but I know. Some unresolved issues.
back to his heyday.
Not only am I would not classify his high school years as my heyday, but not only am I in attendance, but I realize that I'm a student in this history class. Still not completely at peace with this new environment, I raise my hand and ask the teacher if I could use the hall pass.
What would you do in that situation?
I don't know.
Why am I here?
I would probably just get the hell up and leave. I'm like, coming to. I'm like, what the fuck? Where am I? History class.
The Battle of the Bulge.
Freaking did history. I already did high school. Later, like I just get up and walk out.
Am I Drew Barrymore?
But he, yeah, never.
Wait,
been
but and don't answer this if it's a spoiler, but in your dreams that you're back in high school, a lot of the times you are still like in an adult body, like your body now.
Oh.
As a 30, what are you? 38? 36?
Just pack on those years. I've aged 2 years in no time.
So in this, are you
38.
you at
You like 30?
Are you-
47? 50?
are you in your 36-year-old body?
Just hold on.
Okay, hold on.
Just hold on. I read ahead.
What, Trav?
I'm hoping. Okay. I'm hoping that a few minutes of walking and reflecting will help me better gain a foothold into this new reality. You see, the strange thing is, I know I'm a high school student, but at the same time, I get the sense that I've already done this before and that I really should be in my 30s as I am in real life. He's always just an adult back in high school.
I just can't escape it. It's like, how many times do I have to graduate?
There is an internal dialogue happening inside my head as I walk down the halls of the high school. I can tell that I'm more mature than the other students from the standpoint of I feel like I'm much stronger than most of them. You just see him walking down the hall. He's like, I could freaking waste you. Like, I could totally beat that kid up. It's like a prison. He's like, okay, gotta assert my dominance. Find the biggest kid in the school and kick his ass.
Well, it just feels good to, be one of the stronger
Really?
ones.
It feels good to know that you could like beat up some little high school kids.
Well, apparently I am in high school still.
Well, but you're in your 30-year-old body.
Danny's searching the halls for a hot girl that's struggling to open her locker so he can just come in and do the punch it and then it opens.
However,
There you go, sweetheart.
I'm also not so sold on the fact that you could beat up all high school students, but you sure are so proud of the fact that you think you can. I look down at my arms and see that they are much thicker than what I remember my arms looking like in high school. Are they thicker than what they are now?
These guns were really,
However, there is a downside, as I can also see that I have a bit of a dad bod complex going on as well. So in the end, I may be more powerful, but I'm also fat. Check out these guns and this belly.
I can really throw my weight around now,
As I make my rounds through the school hallways, I can hear a loud crackling audio coming from the drama room up ahead. As I get closer, the audio comes into focus and I can tell that they are listening to the 4-3-40 Sports podcast. This gets me a little excited, as I didn't know many people liked to listen to our podcast. As I soak in the delight of listening to our content, I begin to wonder if anyone in that class knows that we have discontinued that podcast and we're moving on to bigger and better projects. Are you guys aware that that is from last year? Those games aren't actually happening right now. Just as I pass the doorway to the drama room, a couple of girls I haven't seen since high school emerge and walk up behind me. One of them covers my eyes and says, "Guess who?" I must have answered with the right name. As the girl lets go of my eyes and turns me around, I give the girls each a hug hello and tell them that I feel like I haven't seen them in 20 years.
Wait, these are girls you've seen these girls back when you were in high school the first time, and they're there again. Are they all like you? Why are we here? Or are they just still in high school?
No, they're still in high school.
Also,
years and years later.
Also, I want to point out, and this is just something kind of weird to think about, but to you, this is a whole new world. But they could have just been there yesterday and seen you in class, and you're like, "Hey, feel like it's been 20 years." It's really, your subconscious
I
just
can
entered
only
in.
tell it from my perspective.
I know. But I'm just saying, from somebody else's perspective, you look like a moron.
Danny, I just saw you at lunch.
They just
No, because it hasn't been lunchtime yet.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to lunchtime.
they just laugh at my silly antics. Oh, Danny, you're so funny. It hasn't been 20 years, you dummy.
We're not even 20 years old yet.
As if exactly. They just laugh at my silly antics as if they know I'm just teasing, although I don't feel like I was joking. Like, no, seriously, like I feel like it's been 20 years.
So you do that little,
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I just love how I say things and then you just pretty much say them right after. I literally feel like I haven't seen them in about 20 years. Anyway, I decide to change the direction of the conversation. Like, I see we are going nowhere with this. I decide to change the direction of the conversation and ask them if they know what podcast they were listening to in their drama class. They look at me a bit funny and tell me, of course, it's your podcast, you silly goose. You didn't write silly goose, but I feel like you should have wrote it in there. Our drama teacher puts it on during the last few minutes of class each day. Wow. Why? Knowing what we recorded, why?
You'll see. I might
She
explain
told
it.
us that the podcast is extremely well done and that we could all learn a thing or two from it. This newfound information makes me feel even better about our podcast project, and I get a big smile on my face.
I can't help it that it was top notch.
Like, she thinks it was really well done. It was, wasn't it? Did you like all the sports betting stuff that we threw in there halfway?
Or are you more of a fan of like Minshew shoes?
Do you like Minshew shoes?
Minshew.
Do you like how we like talked forever about games that already had happened? Things that you probably could have just seen in a newspaper or on the news, ESPN. But I'm not sure if it was the strange dorky smile on my face or the fact that these girls really enjoyed my company. Do you ever say who they are, or do you just not want to say who they are?
Their identities are forever hidden.
Okay. Either way, they invited me to go to the cafeteria with them so we could talk while they stood in line for their food, not wanting to disappoint my newfound fans. I agreed to walk with them to the lunchroom. Once we entered the cafeteria, we continued to talk about various things. At some point, I felt it was appropriate to let them know that we had stopped recording episodes of the Four3Forty Sports podcast. They both stared at me with sadness and concern on their faces. This is definitely a dream.
Who knows? Maybe there was a handful of people out there that were super sad when it was over.
They're like, no. How am I going to get my sports news?
How am I going to know what happened on This Week in Sports?
What they don't realize is that we just watched ESPN and looked online. Like, they both stared at me with sadness and concern on their faces. I quickly tried to salvage the mood by letting them know not to worry, though. We're working on a new podcast project, and we're going to be releasing it soon. I told them that the new podcast would be called The Q Code.
Ooh.
Wanting to give some of my...
This is real life.
Yeah. Wanting to give some of my biggest fans a bit more, I offered to show them a sneak peek of our new podcast logo if they'd like.
The logo?
Yeah.
You guys want...
Not even the show, just like, here's a picture of a podcast.
Now, here, guys.
If you could tell by the timing of this dream, it was when we were just in the middle of transitioning between, we quit the Four3Forty, but we still haven't started this one, other than I think you just created the logo recently.
He's like, hey, if you show me those smiles, I'll show you a logo. We just finished it. It's pretty sweet.
You guys will be one of few that have graced your eyes on our logo.
Okay, let me just tell you. It's basically a Q.
As the one who made the logo, did they enjoy it?
You'll have to wait and find out.
And was it in your dream? Was it the same logo, or did you like imagine some other logo?
It was the same logo.
I was gonna say whatever it
But
is.
I think it was an earlier iteration of the one that I don't think it was the one we ended up with.
Be like,
I think
we've been thinking
the super
color background or black and white.
Yeah, I think it was a super colorful background one at the time.
They seemed pretty excited about it, so I began to look for a picture of it on my phone. I'm trying to look for this photo while at the same time also trying to keep a conversation going with these two girls. It was one of those moments where I'm only able to. Excuse me, I had to burp. What the heck? I had a burp come up. It was one of those moments where I'm only able to dedicate a portion of my attention toward finding the logo on my phone, which is causing me to scroll up and down through the hundreds of photos I have stored on my handheld digital device.
You couldn't just say my phone.
Freaking phone.
Well, I like to say things in different ways.
My handheld digital device. After a few minutes of this maddening task, I decide to tell one of the girls that I can't find a copy of it right now, but would be happy to text it to her once I do.
What if you're like, I can't find. If you would just shut the hell up for a second, I could find it.
I can't continue a conversation. I'm trying to find the Q code logo.
Do you guys ever have problems like that?
Like maybe
multitasking is hard.
No, I know exactly what you mean though. When I'm in a conversation, I've done that before. I'm like,
I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'm looking for something.
It's like you kind of know, but you can't dedicate enough attention to like really like get to complete the task at hand.
Yeah.
So you're like partially trying to talk, but partially trying to find it, and you just next thing you know, you're like, I've been scrolling forever, looking.
Well, so she agrees to this. Thus, I ask her for her cell phone number so that I can save it in my phone and or handheld digital device and send the text later. She gladly gives me her number so that I may follow through with my offer.
That's a good trick to get some digits. Be like, let me show you an awesome. You know, I can't find it. If you give me your number, I could text it to you though, a little bit later.
I got sweet.
Too
pics.
bad it wasn't until. I mean, now I'm married, so I can't use it. So it's all yours now.
Thank you for that.
But I could try using it on my own wife. You could just give me your number so you can have it. I really wish you would stop calling me.
But then she keeps.
Why don't you lose it?
But then she just keeps talking while I'm trying to put the number in, and I can't concentrate and do both like we just talked about. So then I just go, for God's sakes, just give me the damn number.
Or she is.
Love Dumb and Dumber. At this point, I let the girls know that I must head back to class as I've been gone for too long. They say goodbye and I start to walk away. Once I'm a little way away. Once I'm a little way away from the cafeteria, I can hear someone running up behind me, calling my name. I turn around to see that it's one of the girls from before. Not the one whose number I got, but the other one. A bit confused as to why she was chasing me down, I ask her if everything is all right. She tells me that she's fine, but that she wanted to warn me to be careful of the other girl. Unsure of what is going on, I ask her why I should be worried about the other girl. She proceeds to tell me that the other girl is obsessed with our 4-3-40 podcast and listens to it nonstop.
The way Danny reads off those statistics.
Hey, that was the best part. So maybe I don't always change up the wording.
It's other girl.
I could have said women. Yeah.
She proceeds to tell me that the other girl. Oh, I already read that. She notifies me that the girl loves our podcast so much that she will stop at nothing to steal our future podcast ideas for herself and try to release a similar podcast of her own before we release ours. Don't trust her. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. She's got this idea that she and two of her friends are going to come up with questions. And they're going to come to the table each week, and they're each going to talk about their question. And it's going to be normally an hour 50. So, is that the same thing as yours? But anyway, to top all this off, she knows that we have a secret USB device, which all of our ideas are on it, and it doesn't matter if we hide it at the top of the tallest building in the world. The girl is so determined that she will find it.
Tallest building in the that's the deterrent. Like, pretty sure most tall buildings just have an elevator, and she'd be like, she's like, no, I have to push 80. Ding.
And she knows about your USB device. And it don't matter. You could hide it on the tallest building in the world, and she'll find it. She will. She's a mad one, that one.
The funny thing is, all this seemed very like, oh, it's crazy.
At the moment, he's just like, no. What are we gonna do? I'm gonna call the guys. We're gonna hide it in the lowest building. We're gonna throw her off the scent. As startling as this news is, internally I can't help but feel somewhat calm and relaxed, as I know that we don't have a USB drive. Dummy, with all of our ideas on it. The ideas are all inside of Alan's, and Alan's, Trav's, and my head. I thank the girls for the heads up, and then the girls.
Oh, it should just be girl.
I thank the girl for the heads up, and then proceed to go back to my history class. Your history's got to be long done.
But yeah, I was glad that we didn't have a USB device. I don't know where she got that intel from, but it was inaccurate.
Once I get back to class, so much time had passed that the whole new class when the students had started. Huh. That's what that bell meant. Everybody's gone.
How do you predict everything, Trav?
Here's your all pass back. It was diarrhea. It was die.
It was the how do I say this? Very emotional envelope.
Slightly embarrassed, I'm forced to disrupt the class for a moment as I awkwardly weave my way through the desk to get where I had left my backpack and other belongings. I sheepishly pick them up and slowly pack my way out of the class. I just think of him as like Homer from The Simpsons, just like backing his way out. There's one specific scene that I'm thinking of where he just backs into a shrubbery bush and he just disappears. But anyway.
I think I've seen that.
After the graceless experience of retrieving my things, I decided that I'd had enough school for the day and he's had literally of actual school like 30 seconds. The 30 seconds it took him to like come into consciousness and then just be like, I don't know where I am. Hall pass, please. Like he's so courteous enough that he asks for a hall pass. I make my way out of the school, but when I exit the school, I find myself walking down the street in downtown Salt Lake City during the Christmas season. I look around at my new surroundings and can feel the bitter chill of the winter air blow past me. As I walk, I see a tall gentleman and his two teenage boys come out of a bank of doors belonging to the local mall. The man is dressed in a Santa outfit, while the two boys are dressed in similar outfits that I assume are supposed to be elf outfits. You're assuming they're not distinguished enough.
I mean, I don't want to just assume completely. Like maybe it's just the style.
It's not PC. It's not PC of me to assume that you're Santa and those are your two elves. They are walking down the street about 20 to 30 feet in front of me, but they're close enough that I can vaguely make out what they are saying. The two boys are asking their father a bunch of questions about Christmas, as if they have very little idea what this holiday is about. The father, who looks like the Swedish dude on the show Hell on Wheels. Thought he looked like Santa.
Well, he was dressed like Santa.
Oh, but he didn't look like... Okay, he looked like the Swedish dude. Never seen it, so I don't know.
Never seen it? It's a pretty good show.
I know. I just don't really care for like that Hell's Angels stuff, like motorcycle gangs. I don't know.
But this is Hell on Wheels, and it's about...
Oh, the train.
Oh, no, that's the train.
railroad.
What's the one that I'm thinking of?
Alan
Sons of
watched
Anarchy.
it.
Sons of Anarchy. That's what it is. Oh, I did like Hell on Wheels.
The Swedish dude is
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It is good. Should I watch it?
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Hell on Wheels, whom has a thick accent in doing his best to explain the answers to their various holiday questions. Perhaps... Hold on, I am way off. I don't know. I'm having a hard time reading this one.
It's my dream, and I'm still...
The father, who looks like the Swedish dude on the show Hell on Wheels, whom has a thick accent, is doing his best to explain the answers to their various holiday questions. Perhaps it's because he looks and sounds like the Swede from Hell on Wheels, but I do not like or trust this man from the get-go. You are so judging a book by its cover. Besides,
I'm like, whoa, I can't assume that you guys are elves, but this dude, I don't like that guy.
I'm guessing in the show he's a villain.
yes.
Yes.
Besides,
He's a freaking good villain, too, as far as, like, you hate the dude.
Yeah. Why has he gone to all the trouble of dressing like Santa, yet has not taken the time to make a fat belly?
Did he really write that?
No. Well, he didn't write but yes.
I was just very...
It's like
I was like,
Danny
I
is
can't trust.
So that's why he's suspect.
Because he just has like the velvety red pants and suspenders,
He's like,
and like a jacket, but he's just like skinny.
He's like Billy Bob Thornton in what is it, Bad Santa?
Yeah, except for taller.
See, like this is Danny as a detective. He's got him in the interrogation room. He's like slams his hands on the table and he's like, "Why have you gone to all the trouble of dressing like Santa, yet not taken the time to make a fat belly?" Tell me that one. You did it. You murdered the mistress. It's all in the pudding. Just then, he and his two...
Which you did not eat, hence the non-fat belly.
Yeah. Just then, he and his two boys stop and open a door that leads up a long, narrow flight of stairs. I suddenly remember visiting this building years ago when I was a kid. This is where my parents took me to see Santa. I then assumed that he must be playing Santa this year and feel bad for the kids that visit him, as they will have to deal with a tall string bean of a Santa instead of a traditional plump one.
Is this like... Is this really how you think of people that just like they might resemble someone in a movie that was a bad person? It's just like, motherfucker. Come into my bank while I'm working? You're gonna rob me? Is that it?
I don't know. I think people naturally do judge off just emotions, and if you have a bad emotion about somebody's face, you're gonna be less likely to be cordial.
Danny's like, that is why I'm afraid of all black people.
For PC reasons, that is not true. I love black people.
I have to make that disclaimer now that Travis has put thoughts in people's minds. I continue my trek down the city street, and it doesn't take me long to encounter another gentleman dressed like Santa. Fortunately, this Santa looks a lot more like the chubby, fun-loving Santa I got to know as a kid. However, that nostalgic feeling only lasted for a brief second as this Santa looked up at me with a vicious scowl on his face, raised a weapon, took aim, and fired. What? I watched with horror on my face as a projectile soars through the air toward me. I instinctively duck at the last second to avoid being hit. I hear the clank of whatever it was that he shot at me hit the pavement behind me. Because I'm like friggin' Neo in Matrix, and I can dodge bullets.
Except for his opposite. Instead of like leaning backwards, I just leaned forward.
Yeah, it's like
Suddenly, everything went into slow motion, and I could see everything clearly, and I ducked. To me, it was really slow. To him, it was like the speed of light.
after I watched The Matrix, I did think I was like, you know, there are easier ways to get low. Less strenuous on your back.
He's like, yeah, there's easier ways to dodge bullets than to limbo. I turn around to get a closer look at what the freaky warhead. What? Totally skipped. No, I didn't. I turned around to get a closer look at what the freaky warhead was. You never said anything about a warhead.
It's a projectile. He never specified it was a bullet.
It was a warhead. As the item, like a piece of candy?
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Like those warheads? The sour candies?
Okay, so read it again. It's like, now I'm lost.
Okay,
so I am ducking.
From when he shoots
I
at him.
instinctively duck at the last second to avoid being hit. I hear the clank of whatever it was that he shot at me hit the pavement behind me. I turn around to get a closer look at what the freaky warhead was.
See, that all flows.
As the item came into focus, I could see that the Santa had shot a plastic fork at me. I find this to be incredibly rude. But then more memories begin to flood my mind. But the last time, a Santa forked me.
Whatever. No Santa ever forked me.
That was perfect. I can remember. It's like it's so nostalgic. I can remember this whole skit from when I was a kid. I remember that when I went to see Santa at that location, that I had just watched the Swedish Man enter as a child. There initially was a bad guy Santa. Wait, from what?
So I remember.
What time are we in?
I know.
Are you?
I can remember
I'm
this.
remembering as like being a child again, and remembering going to see the Santa at that place that I said earlier. That I remember. my
So you're
parents
having
did-
sort of a flashback.
Yeah. And then I remember that when I went there was a bad.
Also
Santa.
a bad Santa.
That
But which one is
Shot
throwing
the
the
fork.
fork at you?
The plump one.
That's what I thought. So
From
are
when
there
you were a
two
kid.
bad ones, or is the skinny one the good one? I don't know. This is a question that we all have.
I can't remember if I explained it or not. But
All right. There initially was a bad guy Santa. However, eventually the good Santa came into the room, and the two of them battled it out until eventually the good Santa was able to shoot the bad Santa with his plastic fork gun. And
so as a child, the skinny Santa was bad. The good Santa came in, had the plastic fork gun, so I assumed that this guy was that Santa.
Oh.
But for whatever reason, he was a freaking jerk and shot me with his fork gun.
and was able to retake his rightful place on the North Pole throne. King of the North. Happy that I was able to work this all out in my head. I'd be happy too. You're like, what?
I'm going to be honest, I still don't really know exactly what.
Basically, Fat Santa. So, okay. He sees Skinny Santa enter with his two elves.
The Swedish guy that he
Swedish
hates.
guy.
Yeah.
He immediately makes a bad judgment. He's just like, he's a bad guy because he looks like one.
Yeah.
He looks like one. But then Fat Santa comes in and Danny gets all happy. And he's like, oh, that's the one I want. And then he was like, screw you. Shoots him with a fork.
The fat one?
Yeah. So then Danny like Matrix dodges it. And then he's like, oh, I remember now. And then it's like, goes back into time.
Oh.
He's a little kid, and he remembers going to see Santa at this exact place. And he sees the bad Santa, which was the skinny Santa. And then Fat Santa comes in to save the day, and he's got a fork gun. And he's like, shoots the bad Santa, or this bad skinny Santa, and then he regains his throne as King of the North. And fast forward back now, Danny's realizing, oh, I made a bad judgment. It's actually the fat one that's the bad guy right now. So that's where we are.
Oh.
I don't know if that really helps.
I don't
but
get. How did you not follow that?
Happy that I was able to work this all out in my mind, I continue my walk down the street toward a bar. Well, that's where you need to go. In which
He's just so nonchalantly,
Yeah.
just like, well, that was that. Go to the bar.
well, you almost got me there, Fat Santa. I'm going to go drink some booze. In which I was supposed to meet some people. When I walked into the bar, the group of people I was meeting were all present. That's good. They must have been there for a while as they were already a bit intoxicated. Well, you just had a big episode where you're basically fighting Santa. So who knows how long that would have taken. I sat down and said hi to everyone. They had just ordered another round of shots and told me to get one as well. I told them that I had to be up early in the morning and wasn't planning on drinking tonight. You're in high school.
Guys, I have to be up for school in the morning. We all do.
I've got history class. One of them didn't take kindly to my refusal to drink and proceeded to get back at me by pouring a shot of whiskey on my head.
That's
Like, I will show you peer pressure, you bitch. You will drink it.
or you will
else
wear it.
I will take this fork and I will hit you. Never done that before.
Too late. I was already forked earlier.
Yeah. Fork you. I can feel the sticky liquid drip down my face. Oh, God. Why?
It's whiskey.
After he forked you?
This is so
There
bad.
was no forking. Trap made the fork part.
Is it?
It was solely just dump the whiskey on my
Is
head.
whiskey sticky?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
All alcohol
Sticky.
is.
I can feel the sticky liquid. Why didn't you just say? Why didn't you say what it was? Why do you have to say sticky liquid? Dripped down my face and into my shirt collar. Feeling a bit annoyed and irate about this, my initial instinct is
God.
to chastise and yell at him.
That makes no sense the way you worded that. Feeling a bit annoyed and irate.
Well, I was more mad than annoyed.
However,
How are you both? Just a little annoyed, but super irate.
You could be a little annoyed and
I don't
super
think you
irate.
can.
However, knowing how drunk he and the rest of them are, I know that scolding him will do no good. I sit back down and do the best of my ability, wipe myself off with a napkin, and resume visiting with others. Soon, a woman walks up to me and begins lecturing me about how Mayan people don't drink much either. Don't you worry a little bit. Mayan people don't drink either. Not even just a little bit. One iota. Yoda.
That's how they were so good at calendars.
Drinking the Mayans do not. The way she is telling me this gives me the feeling that she and everyone else at this bar thinks that I am of Mayan descent or something.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird.
I tell them all that I am not Mayan, and in fact explain to them that I bet they would find it very difficult to find a Mayan person in the area anytime soon. Once I was able to calm down and step off my high horse, I woke up. He's like, stands on a stool. Hey, I am not Mayan. And I would bet my whole paycheck for whatever job I have, probably washing dishes or nannying,
I am in high school.
or working at a bank. I do that a lot too. But I would bet that you could not find a Mayan anywhere here in the near area.
Well, since they're an ancient people.
And how do you know, lady, that Mayans do not drink? That's what I want to know.
She's like, I read it in an old Mayan text.
In the old Mayan text. Mayans, it said Mayans don't drink. All right. Well, that is that one. That one was interesting. It always feels like there's two parts to your dreams.
Yeah.
But they always seem to just like merge. It's like there
what are the
isn't
two parts?
There
The high
isn't
school-
really like. I mean, it's like, oh, hey, I left high school, and now I'm walking. Oh, I got the burps. I'm walking downtown, and it's Christmas. It's like it immediately changes, but there's still a transition from one to the other. But anyway, so let's figure out what the hell you were thinking while you were doing this dream. But so we go to dreammoods.com. We type in a bunch of words just to see. I think we've by this point we've realized that Danny just leads the most depressing, goalless life. And this is another reason why I don't necessarily believe in all this hubbaloo. How do you say that? Hubbaloo, hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo. Yeah. Just because I feel like every single one of these is so depressing. So let's see what it is this week. So if you dream about high school, to dream that you have to repeat. I feel like we've read this before too, because you've been in high school before.
I'm pretty sure it was in the dream where you and I went to high school together.
Yeah, to dream that you have.
It brought back a lot of poor memories.
It did.
For you.
If you want to listen to that one, go back to
Episode Dream 12.
Yeah, what is it called though?
Mother-in-law.
Haunted mother-in-law apartment. Yeah. So to dream that you have to repeat high school suggests that you are doubting your accomplishments and the goals. I told you it's goalless. That you have already completed. If you dream about a cafeteria, denotes that there may be a lot of issues eating you up inside. Pun intended. Ba-doom.
It literally put eating in quotes. So I had to also put it in quotes for you.
Theft. To dream that someone is stealing something from you indicates that you are experiencing an identity crisis or are suffering from some sort of loss in your life. No, don't take our Q code ideas.
Do not. I should have just planted a fake USB device.
Yes, we do have a USB device, and here it is. I'm going to leave it on this table.
Do not take it.
Don't. If you dream about Santa or that someone is dressed as Santa Claus, suggests that you need to treat others as you would like to be treated. Why?
I don't know. That's just what it said.
All right. If you dream about elves or to see an elf in your dream refers to some imbalance and disharmony in your life. Again, why? There's literally no explanation for these. These are just made up junk.
Maybe because they're like supposed to be little. And so it's like an imbalance because I'm bigger. I don't know.
Not much. But I'm just kidding.
Oh, burn. But I was the strongest one in the high school. So.
Or at least that was only according to you. That was your personal opinion.
No, I just knew.
I had this strange feeling that I was the strongest one here in this high school. If you dream about Santa forking you, I'm just kidding. If you dream about a plastic fork or to see a plastic objects in your dream, suggests that you are being fake, artificial, and or insensitive in some way. To dream of being attacked with a fork indicates that you are too picky with the ideas/suggestions presented to you.
So I don't know how you would mix those two together.
I don't know.
Like fake, but picky.
Yep.
Picky fake.
Yep. If you dream about a bar, to dream that you are at a public bar signifies your desire to escape from the stresses of your daily life, a retreat into a light-hearted environment where pleasure abounds. Ooh. And that is that. So, wow. Okay. Well, 4-3-40 podcast groupies. And or the Santa forking is really what it should have been.
It's hard to name it when you have two parts to every dream.
I know. I've kind of gotten mad at Danny a few times for just his laziness of how he puts these titles together. So I'm like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Like, it's just, I didn't know what to call it. I'm like, I came up with one real easy. I call it a substitute. Because you were a substitute teacher. But anyway, all right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. That one was a pretty good one. Let us know what you think. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at QCO Podcast. You can catch, of course, the podcast anywhere that podcasts are available. Also, make sure that you check us out on YouTube, subscribe, and then also hit that button, that bell button, so you know whenever we have new episodes coming on board. And also, don't forget to leave us 5 stars. But do you guys have anything else before we say adieu?
Adieu. Nope. I'll just work on dreaming on.
All right. Well, in that case, we will catch you next week. Adieu.